Hey guys, so my verse is found in Romans 8:28, and it says this: "For all things come together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purposes." And for the next hour and a half, I am excited to share with you, off of this, just one topic actually, and it's just this one statement that I hope will leave an impression in your hearts. It's simply as this: nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. See, I think this verse is one of those verses that growing up, I thought was so cliche and it was so overused. It was actually one of those ones that my mom had it on like a coffee mug, you know, with like a weird sunset background that has nothing to do with the verse. And it was just always isolated and it was always quoted. But the older I get, the more I realize the truth of it. Because the more I have experience in life, the more I realize life rarely goes as we plan it. Like some things would work out, you know, kind of the way we plan it. But most of the time, it doesn't. And I think while we're on that path of shifting and changing, and especially in the last 2 years, most of us have experienced that in some form or the other, we kind of come to this place where we realize when my plans equals God's plans, you know? And when my plans fall through, we start to wonder, God, are you still sovereign in this? God, can you still handle this? Because I sure can't, because my plans just fell through. And it's in this place that we start to hear the truth of this word, that all things come together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. I think along the way, there's also this one question that keeps on coming up. God, can you still fulfill the plans or the promises that you had? And somewhere we find ourselves in this weird predicament. And I think it's a twisting of the truth where we think we are responsible for the fulfillment of God's plans, and God is responsible to be obedient to God's plans for us. You know, but the reality is it's actually reversed. God is responsible for the fulfillment. It is our responsibility to be obedient. It's God's responsibility to fulfill. We are responsible to be just simply obedient. And so it's in this place that we find ourselves safely tucked. Somebody once said to me, which was so powerful, the safest place you can find yourself is in obedience. And while you're walking in obedience, things can happen all around you, but that's okay because God can handle it. And I love this verse because it's not just it's not a hopeful statement. It's not a statement that somebody came up to encourage the church in Rome. Instead, Paul actually says this after a life that he has lived, and it's a product of a conviction within himself. See, Paul has been through some things. And after all of those experiences, he says, for all things work together for good. See, this conviction comes up in hindsight, right? Like you may not realize it while you're going through it, but when you look back, you realize, oh, that worked out for my good. You know, that job that ended, that worked out for my good. That relationship that ended, that worked out for my good. That door that closed, God can work it out for my good. Whatever you may be facing, God can still work it out for your good. See, we have this fear, like his power to redeem and restore is greater than the depth of your failures and your shortcomings. His power to recreate, to come in and rescue you is so great that even there's a verse specifically dedicated to that. And I love this because he says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. For as high as the heavens are from the earth are my thoughts and your thoughts, and my ways than your ways. Nothing wasted. That means that even whatever I face right now, even the parts that I would want to put aside, you know, at the altar, the parts that I would disqualify, the parts that I would disregard, God can use those parts. I'm going to go with the illustration here to end off. I genuinely don't like mushrooms. Like, I just think they're just the worst. Like, they're not a fruit and they're not a vegetable. Like, it's a fungi, right? And like, they have a meal out of it, like mushroom soup, right? Like, and I just think that's just like, why? There's no substance in that. And I like to eat protein and you know, something that will fill me up. Anyway, Dino Vancouver has this thing where like you can go and get a meal for like a certain amount of money and you get voluntary appetizers. Well, I go to this one restaurant and it has mushroom soup. And I had to order it because it came with it. Anyway, I ordered it, and at that time it was involuntary because it was part of the product. When I had it, it was so good. It was life-changing. It was amazing. And like normally I would never buy that for myself. But somewhere along the way, the chef or the creator at this restaurant knew to put all the ingredients together to make this mushroom soup, and it was so good. But individually, I would have never chosen that for myself. And here's my bottom line. Only God can take those bitter things in your life, mix it together to make something so good for you that you would have not picked for yourself. Nothing wasted. Bless you guys.